Welcome to Weekend Ag Matters from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Join us for an in-depth look at Iowa agriculture. Here's your host, Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Weekend Ag Matters on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. In today's episode, Riley Smith speaks with Kristine Tidgren, a professor at Iowa State University. Dustin Hoffmann is joined by Nathan Kramer of John Deere, and Russ provides his faith-based segment. Let's turn our attention now to this week's news headlines. Planting season is very similar to harvest in that it is one of the busiest and potentially most stressful times of year for growers. Long days and a lack of sleep can make things difficult for farmers. Add in the uncertain weather and equipment breakdowns, and stress relief techniques are needed to assist farmers during the growing season. David Brown of Iowa State University Extension says that all farmers need to be striving to get adequate sleep during the planting season.
Try to get as much sleep as you possibly can, and sometimes that may be difficult depending on the hours and what's going on in the fields and things. But try to get a short break, try to build in that physical activity, take that little walk. Try to focus on, when you have that time, do your go-to thing that helps you relax. What is the one item that you can rely on when you have that little bit of downtime that you can relax?
Even while getting adequate sleep and body movement, farmers need to be cognizant of their mental health during the spring. Brown says that simply having someone to talk to can make a big difference.
Who can you talk to? Who can you socialize during the time, those off hours when you can actually get out and about? Who can you socialize with? It's using our downtime in the most important ways that we can do to help manage our stress and take care of ourselves. The relaxation strategies could be having a hobby that we simply enjoy, maybe doing some deep breathing, maybe some mindfulness, meditation, maybe some repetitive prayer.
That was David Brown of Iowa State University Extension. For more on this story and all of our daily news stories, you can visit our website at iowaagnet.com. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter that delivers those 5 daily stories to your inbox each day. Also on our website, you can find the podcast episodes of our daily radio show, Iowa Ag Matters. Beef supplies remain extremely low in the United States, and beef prices at the grocery store and meat counter are sky high. One of the contributing factors to high prices for beef is the closed Mexico-United States border, which has stopped the importation of Mexican feeder cattle. USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins has stated that until the sterile fly facilities in Mexico and Texas can increase production to battle New World screwworm flies, the border will remain closed. USDA Undersecretary Dudley Hoskins says the existing sterile fly facilities are producing flies at a high rate.
One of those key pillars under that 5-pronged plan was enhancing our capability and infrastructure and enhancing the sterile fly production that we currently have. We're still relying on our Copeg facility in Panama that produces about 100 million sterile flies per week. We continue to disperse those wherever and however we can when we're seeing the highest risk movement of flies in Mexico.
The sterile insect technique is effective in battling screwworm flies because female screwworms mate only once in their lifetime, and if they mate with a sterile male, females lay eggs that never hatch.
The Secretary has initiated an additional dispersal facility in Tampico, Mexico, that we completed construction on last November. It helps us be more nimble in our aerial dispersal in Mexico, places hard to get to. So that's been a critical asset to us in that toolbox.
Hoskins says that a new sterile fly facility in Texas will help to increase the number of sterile flies available to better control New World screwworm.
Most recently, the Secretary was in McAllen, Texas at Moore Air Base and participated in a ribbon cutting ceremony to bring the new dispersal facility online in McAllen.
That's all the time we have for headlines this week. Let's turn things over now to Russ Parker and his faith-based Food for Thought segment here on Weekend Ag Matters on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, where Iowa Ag matters.
I read a Facebook post the other day that poked a little humor at the idea that astronauts on the backside of the moon would have no communication with Earth. And the joke was that even out there, they probably could still stream a movie on their cell phone. And the line on the post said, "You'll never believe where I am, out in the middle of nowhere. Technology is an amazing thing, isn't it? And yet, so often, we take it for granted." And a rocket launched and traveled thousands of miles beyond the moon, and drones programmed to intercept other drones in midair. And we see photos of helicopters being refueled in flight. And from a handheld transponder, we hear the words, "God is good," from a jet pilot whose plane was shot down, and those words reveal the coordinates to where he can be found somewhere on a mountaintop in the middle of nowhere. And all of that happened this past week in a 24-hour period of time. And during this time, what strikes me is how often references to God still find their way into all of this. From the president's press briefing, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff hears a reporter sneeze and says, "Bless you," right in the middle of his comments. And taken from the Christmas messages of Apollo 8 long ago, this mission during Easter, we heard astronaut Jeremy Hansen share an Easter message about the teachings of Jesus and his simple command to love God and love others. And in the background, there's a space capsule filled with technology and sophisticated equipment, and Hansen somehow brings it all back to the one truth that matters the most. In Genesis 1:1, we read this: "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." And it goes on to say what he created each day during the week: light and darkness, the firmament, dry land, seas, and vegetation, and sun and moon and stars, and fish and birds, and land animals, and humanity. And on the seventh day, God rested. Phil Wickham, who's a Christian songwriter, put it in a song this way: "Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God." There's a reminder in all of this worldly stuff for all of us that no matter how advanced the machinery, no matter how far we travel, no matter how connected the world becomes, the greatest truth we can ever carry is still wonderfully simple. God is God, and God is good. And his love reaches us anywhere, even in the middle of nowhere. Food for thought, I hope. This is Russ Parker. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Russ. Up next, we will have Riley Smith's conversation with Kristine Tidgren, a professor at Iowa State University. That's next here on Weekend Ag Matters on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network.
Farmers, stay on top of your local market with Basis Matters from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Every day, we bring you the latest corn and soybean cash prices from inland grain elevators and river terminals across Iowa. Get the prices you need to make the best-selling decisions, no matter where you are in the state. Basis Matters connects you to the numbers that matter most to your farm. Tune in every weekday only on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network and make informed grain marketing decisions with Basis Matters.
Welcome back to Weekend Ag Matters. Here's Riley Smith.
Riley Smith, Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, on the phone right now with Kristine Tidgren. She's the director of Iowa State Center for Agricultural Law and Taxation. And Kristine, a very exciting announcement here recently of a new tool that will help create more ag-familiar tax preparers. And of course, it being tax season right now, a lot of farmers are thinking about really the complicated nature of filing taxes when you are a farmer. So tell us a little bit about this tool and how it will help to create more tax preparers who are familiar with the ag side of things.
Well, Riley, we are spending the next year working on an educational program to really increase the number of tax professionals who are competent to help farmers with their tax returns. We've discovered that there is a shortage of tax preparers, tax professionals who have agricultural tax return knowledge. And so we are working really hard. This is going to be almost a 40-hour training session that's going to be available free of charge to tax professionals. They'll be able to get professional credit for taking this course. And the end goal of this course is that in the end, they will feel comfortable and competent to help agricultural businesses with their tax returns. They can help farmers prepare taxes. They can help farmers make tax decisions. And hopefully they will continue down that road, continue to increase their competence and be skilled in agricultural taxation. So that's the goal. It's a very exciting opportunity that we have.
And I know that a lot of the rural tax preparers are older in age. A lot of them have been retiring. So there is that lower amount of those tax preparers who are familiar with that. Could you talk a bit about your experience of hearing from farmers, hearing from people in rural areas who are saying that, yeah, there's not many people who are experienced with my ag income and just the basics of farming?
Yes, we have a great core here in Iowa of people who have really devoted their careers to helping farmers with taxes. But as you say, a lot of these folks are wanting to retire or they have retired, and some of our best folks have died. It's just the nature of rural America in general that are smaller locations. There's been a little bit of a drop off in services that are available. It's the same on the legal side as well. Not as many attorneys in these rural areas. And we have the same issue with tax professionals. We'll have a really great office that will close down, and there's not necessarily anyone there to take over. So what happens is those clients get dispersed to other people, sometimes much farther away. And in some cases, it's becoming an issue where people have to travel to the cities to find somebody that can handle their business. And we'd like to change that. We would like to have people who are already skilled at helping clients with tax returns help them become competent in the agricultural side so that farmers have more options when it comes to having help with that part of their business. Because with farmers, it's a big part of their cash flow analysis and everything else. There's lots of decisions that they can make that can really impact how much money they have to invest in their business, what their tax liability should look like year to year, those types of things. So it really does require a special skill set, and we want to increase those opportunities for farmers to work with competent professionals.
And so when it comes to teaching those professionals and kind of making them familiar with the ag side of things, what are some of the best ways that you've seen so far to go about that? Because I'm sure there's a lot that kind of overlaps into other areas of taxation, right?
That's correct. So this sort of 40-week boot camp is the way we're sort of talking about it right now. It assumes that the people that are coming into this program already know how to file tax returns. They already know how to file 1040s, et cetera. We are focused on giving them all the special rules and the special requirements for farm tax. And so that is what this will do, is really increase their knowledge of the special rules in the Internal Revenue Code that apply to farmers, that apply to farming. It's surprising probably to somebody that's not involved in this area how many special provisions are in the tax code, because farming business really is unique. Your income doesn't come in over the year evenly. It comes in maybe all at once when you sell your grain or when you sell your livestock. So you have huge income spikes, then you have periods where all you're doing is spending money. And then times like this where commodity prices are down and the income may not be what you want, you also have to have some help trying to make decisions about, okay, what happens if I'm facing what might be a loss? Are there ways to take advantage of provisions that exist in the code that would minimize the harsh results? So these are all decisions that are made in conjunction with the farmer. Farmers know all kinds of things about their business, but to bring in someone knowledgeable in the tax provisions that could benefit them is something that will help all farmers that have that added expert in their corner.
Well, Kristine, a very exciting program, and I think there will be a lot of interest and hopefully a lot of benefit to gain out of this for anyone who wants to stay up to date on kind of the process of that workshop and make sure that they are seeing when it is live finally, when you guys are able to have that completed. How can they stay up to date on that?
Yeah, great question. So we have a website at the Center for Agricultural Law and Taxation at Iowa State University, and we run a lot of educational programs for tax professionals already. So we try to keep people who are already well-versed in agricultural taxation up to date. So we offer one-day courses in that already. We offer two-day courses in just general federal income tax every year to give people an update. So that's where we already post information about those training courses. In about a year, we'll be posting updates on some pilot courses that we're going to run on this new program. And then we will be rolling out an online portal that will be a self-study course that, again, practitioners can complete on their own schedule, at their own pace, for credit and for confidence. So just stay tuned, go out to our website. And in the meantime, our website offers all kinds of updates on just general tax law, general agricultural law as well. We try to keep people up to date on what's happening out there to help agricultural producers all across the country.
And one last thing before we wrap up, I think just to stress again, a free online course, that it'll also count as required continuing education. It's a big deal, and hopefully able to get quite a bit of reach with that.
We hope so. So thanks so much for letting us talk about that today.
That again was Kristine Tidgren, a professor at Iowa State University, that new ag tax preparing program that will hopefully create a lot more tax preparers who are familiar with farm tax filings. And that's it for segment 2 of this week's show. Coming up after this short break, Dustin Hoffmann visits with the folks at John Deere about their latest advancements in combine technology. You're listening to Weekend Ag Matters on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Dive into the dynamic international ag industry with the World of Agriculture, your go-to source for global ag news made relevant for Iowa's producers and consumers, right here on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. From the latest updates on crops in South America to critical information on overseas trade relations, we cover all the factors that impact our ag economy. Tune into your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate every Monday through Friday for fresh, insightful episodes that keep you informed and connected to the broader agricultural landscape.
Welcome back to Weekend Ag Matters. Here's your host, Dustin Hoffmann.
Back on Weekend Ag Matters, as we're only days and maybe weeks away from the planting of the 2026 crop, we probably have combines as the last thing on our mind. But if you got through 2025 and realize that you either need an upgrade or need to make a replacement, folks at John Deere have got some news about the new line that they brought out. Talking with Nathan Kramer of John Deere, and we're sitting right next to an X9 combine. I know we're getting ready to plant, but of course farmers are also thinking about, after last fall, what do I need to make any changes in the field or on the machinery lineup? Tell us about what X9's got and talk about what we got standing behind us here.
Yeah, really exciting updates for us. What we have on display here is for model year 27, right? So it'll be a little ways out, but we're really excited. Of course, this will be an opportunity for our customers and our dealers to interact later this summer and start placing orders for these exciting new updates. So with model year 27 to start out with, this will be the 100th year that John Deere has provided a combined, right, of multiple steps or a combine to our customers. So with that, we're really, we are excited to talk about the holistic solution. Let's start up front. We're offering our customers a brand new corn head, a 27 row 20 for those running in those type of configurations. So we're increasing the overall working widths and capabilities to ensure customers could get the most out of their machine. But also an option on all corn heads, which is really exciting, is auto deck plate adjust. That'll really help with overall header loss and optimizing the performance. That'll have a really positive impact on all of our customers. In addition to that, we also have auto back shaft speed. So as ground speeds are adjusting, we're going to ensure that that corn head has the proper speeds as well to avoid butt shelling and other things to where if we're overspeeding can occur. So we're really excited about some of the updates and enhancements right up front. Now, when we look at the X9, we have a lot to talk about, and a lot to talk about from a hard iron standpoint, but also from an expansion of a automation standpoint as well that will, at the end of the day, really help our customers deliver a more consistent harvest and also help to reduce additional complexity or workload, and ensure that the outcomes or the results they're looking for, they're going to achieve it with this solution. Let's go ahead and start with some of the hard iron elements that we're going to have available for our growers with model year 27 X9s. Equipped on this machine, we have a new grain tank. It's 550 bushels, so that's a 90 bushel increase. That's really going to help our customers when they're opening up fields and, right, extend some of the unload times that occur quite often with this high capacity machine. In addition to that, when we're talking about grain handling, we have a new 35-foot unload auger. That's going to give a little bit more flexibility from the edge of that front end piece, and it also sets us up for more wider implements or front end elements as well. Pretty exciting. Right beside me here, when we talk about grain handling and how we engage with the grain, we have our all-new John Deere True Thresh Concave. Really excited here. This will be available via the factory, model year 27. On that, we have the John Deere design angled bar concaves, and these are what we're saying is our modular design or half length, making it a lot easier to install for different conditions if or when that is required. But also in addition to that, it really allows customers to optimize with different combinations, making it a very versatile setup. In the final piece with the new structure that we have on, we're also going to see durability, reliability improvements to go along with that. With this new design, we're also offering what we're calling our remote concaved and separator grate covers. And this will allow operators from in the cab on the go in those tough threshing conditions, right? Maybe we have some tougher, wetter soybeans, hard to get them out of the pod. You need a little bit more threshing. There will be an electric actuator that opens and closes these covers. Again, helping customers as crop conditions change to get that consistent output that they're asking us to provide to them. So a few really exciting updates. The last hard iron update that we have available is how they're going to get in and out of the cab. We're offering a new powered ladder. This will be available on the X9, on S7s as well, and that's going to really make that a lot easier of getting in and out of the cab, or when someone comes to join you can let them in via the seat. Now, when it comes to technology, we also have significant upgrades in what we're offering to our customers. I'll start with our harvest settings automation. And a key piece within that is what we call intelligent initial settings. So very descriptive, that will help with the startup when you get to the field, and the machine is going to know right where that is from a geography standpoint and what is the appropriate initial settings to optimize the machine and get you harvesting as quickly as we possibly can. We're really excited with that. That's something we've had on the combine since model year 25 that will now be available on our front end equipment as well. Again, thinking about the whole system, not just the combine. So we're really excited on those initial settings to help customers do what they want to do, get to the field and start cutting crop. In addition, we're offering more crops that will be available for our growers where this system functions within it. For 27, we're going to add 6 more in addition to the corn, soy, wheat, barley, canola, and rice that we've had. Now we're going to add lentils, peas, oats, rye, sunflower, and triticale. So again, offering this capability over more crops and allowing our customers to utilize it more throughout the season. We have HSA. That's what I just talked about there. In addition, we have the market exclusive predictive ground speed automation. And that's where we're giving the combine the ability to truly know what's in front of it. By about 28.5 feet in front of the machine, we are giving the combine the ability to see quite literally what's out there. We've continued to build the capabilities and the corner conditions in which this functions. For 27, we are now giving it the ability to have what we're calling green crop detection. So when the rest of the field is mature, ready, dried down, but maybe you have a low spot that had a little bit more moisture, the machine will be able to recognize that and make appropriate ground speeds, again, to optimize and avoid any downtime occurrences by not approaching it in the right way. So again, we're expanding the capabilities of what our automation systems can do for our customers. Again, what's the value of utilizing automation from model year 25, and we continue to validate it? We're seeing upwards of 20% productivity gain when these technologies are utilized. So the reason we talk so much about it is because we're seeing the positive, true value it's providing to our customers.
All right, so folks want to learn more about this combine or start talking about their dealers. I know you said it's going to be about this summer when the things are going to be released, be able to order. But they want to look at it and get, like I said, we get the conversation started. Where do they go?
Yep, you could go to johndeere.com and or your local John Deere dealer and continue these conversations.
All right, well, thank you so much for the insight on this new tractor. And with that, we'll be putting the wraps on this week's show. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Russ, thanks to Mark, and thanks to Riley Smith. And, of course, thanks to you for listening. Hope you have a great week ahead. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you here next time on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network.